I think lean is something very simple that we sometimes make very complex. I would argue that as just through your natural everyday life, you're doing lean, and it's about finding the most efficient way to do things. So from the time you get up in the morning, generally everybody has their own routine on how they get up, and they've found the most efficient way to get up and get started to the day, and that's really what lean is. I think of lean in terms of it's common sense. It's how do we make it easy on ourselves and move forward. It's a time-based strategy, and that strategy is all about how do I shrink and compress time inside of a process, and the way that you do that is you take waste out. What you'll find is in a process, about 10% of our time adds value. The other 90% doesn't add value. So things like transportation, things like moving stuff to a job site, that would be a non-value added time. But running a stump cutter would be adding value. That would be actually doing the work. So inside of lean, what you do is you go focus on these wastes that don't add value and find ways to eliminate them and remove them from the process. There's a lot of different ways. To me, the best way is you engage the person who's doing the process and you work with them to find ways to knock those barriers down. We take an approach at Vermeer that's a team-based approach. So if we know we've got a challenging process in the office or in the factory, at one of our dealers, at a supplier, we'll get a team together to talk about here's the process, we'll map it out, we'll understand that process from start to finish, and we'll start removing those non-value added steps. Has waste. Like I gave an example of transportation waste. So if you're a tree care company, you've got to get your piece of equipment out to the job. Well, if you don't take the most direct route to get to the job, you've got waste in there. Some other things to think about are the setup at the job. So it's not only getting the piece of equipment there, I've got to have the right equipment that I'm wearing when I'm running the machine. Do I have that right equipment easily accessible? Can I get to it right away? So I shrink that time up. The best recommendation I would make for going to find areas on lean would be go to the internet. There's lots of different articles out there. You'd be able to find great books on what lean is that would be specific to industries, would be specific to it's really what you're going to find is lots of information that can be specific to general about what is waste reduction, what is a time-based strategy mean. You could certainly try consulting companies. There's many consultants out there that focus on driving waste out of businesses. But my recommendation would be start on the internet.